That was ugly as hell. So the Lakers missed 10 of their first 11 shots, didn't play great defense for most of the night, 20 turnovers, shot 41% from the floor. LeBron inexplicably struggled with inbounds passes, but they hold on to win in overtime despite a weird AD foul at the end of regulation, 108-102. So it's a win. They're not a great offensive team. And it's a little dispiriting that in year 20, they still need LeBron to really carry them down the stretch of a lot of games. AD was okay, mostly good. And what the Lakers did last night, and we've talked about this, they're not a great offensive team. I mean, they protect the rim. They initiate a lot of contact, so they get to the free throw line. And last night, they were 22 of 24 from the free throw line. That's what they did really well. They took advantage at the stripe, and that was the difference. And they're a team. Minnesota relied, Karl Anthony Towns had a good night, but they relied on a lot of jump shots. And the Lakers tend to drive, create contact, and get to the free throw line. They played very poorly. This is they just weren't terribly engaged. And for the Lakers to win, you generally know you're going to get about 26 to 28 from Anthony Davis in Laker wins. You're going to get about 26 points from LeBron James. And then you need a third guy to step up. That's usually the recipe for winning. You play some good defense. You get a third guy to step up offensively. Austin Reeves wasn't terribly dynamic. Dennis Schroeder hit a couple of big shots, big three at the end of regulation. But they didn't really have a third guy step up and give them that 20, 21 points they need in most wins. But shorthanded Minnesota just ran out of gas late, hit a lot of shots early. Mike Conley was red hot. Again, Karl Anthony Towns played well. But this is a Laker team that there's a certain formula they have to win. And that is Anthony Davis has got to dominate the inside. LeBron has to be engaged in the second half. You can't ask for LeBron at this point in his career to give you 39 engaged minutes. He tends to settle into a game after about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. He doesn't start quickly on most nights. He certainly didn't in this one. The Lakers as a whole didn't shoot the ball particularly well early, fell behind, and just kind of sputtered. But you kind of felt the entire way like LeBron would finally kind of pick it up and carry them, down the stretch. He didn't play great down the stretch, had a couple of very bizarrely bad LeBron turnovers, but it was good enough to win. And I think this is kind of what I talked about with this Laker team. In March Madness, I think they'd be a handful because they're physical. They can defend the rim. They'll get to the free throw line. Darvin Ham's a good defensive coach. But if you're asking this team to win a beauty contest and to get easy baskets, and generally teams that win championships, they've got shot makers or playmakers or both, and they get some easy baskets, you never quite know who's going to be the third scorer for the Lakers. So it's against good teams. If you look at how they've played lately, I think they've won 10 of 12. They've beaten a lot of average teams or shorthanded teams. They're not pretty. Baskets don't come easy. So, and tonight's a great example of, it was just kind of an ugly win, and you got to feel good about that. They don't win this game on the road. They win it at home. They needed overtime. But it's kind of the way they're going to have to win. Just treat every game as like a March Madness, one and done. Play with urgency. They're not talented enough offensively to have really, really off nights. I mean, again, they won that game tonight at the free throw line. They hit their free throws. But they had 20 turnovers, didn't shoot the ball particularly well, didn't have a third score. So this is kind of the way it's going to work. Can they beat a good team like Memphis 4 times? I think they can in the first playoff series. I don't think they can extend it to a second playoff series win and a third. I just think you're asking too much of an old guy and an often hurt guy in Anthony Davis. But Crypto Arena was rocking. It was really funny. In the first game, Atlanta played with a ton of urgency, jumped on top of Miami. And again, Miami, like the Lakers, baskets come hard. They're not a pretty offensive team, and they just didn't have enough offensively in the tank to overcome the deficit. The Lakers did, mostly because, LeBron engineers the comeback and they hit a couple of big threes. But this is not a Laker team. When you were watching this game tonight, your first takeaway is, God, this is really hard to stomach. Can we bury the tape? This is what it's going to look like in the playoffs for this team. Defend, get to the line, hit your free throws. This is what they're going to look like. They're not going to be pretty because you start looking in the West now. Phoenix with KD now has some length, fewer easy baskets. Golden State, Wiggins is back. Gary Payton's back. They can defend now. You start looking at some of these teams you could match up with in the West. Memphis going to play real defense. This is what it's going to look like. Little choppy, little ugly, close. Need LeBron down the stretch and hit your free throws.